Hi, Adrian Taffinder again. Now, I just wanted to do a quick video today just to give you a little bit more insight into, the one-to-one kind of mentoring, coaching, kind of therapeutic work that I do. Because again, as I said, it's very, very unique. There's not really, I don't think it's going to be anything like you've seen before. I use various diagnostic techniques. Anybody familiar with what they call psychokinesiology or muscle testing? Now, what it is it's basically it leverages a human attribute. Now, as things that you think about, what you hold in the head and the images you hold in your head, your body, the cells in your body directly react to those images. So if you hold an image which is unpleasant, your body will go into what they call fight or flight, the stress mode, or what they call sympathetic. So you've got the relaxed mode, which is parasympathetic, and you've got stress mode, which is what they call sympathetic. You're in sympathy for that emotion. Now, this is how lie detectors work. Now, lie detectors, what they do is they put little sensors on your skin. Now, when you say something which is a lie, or something that's untrue to you, down to your core beliefs, it stresses you. Your body, it causes a reaction. And also it causes what they call cognitive dissonance. There's a conflict between like the motor cortex and your rational cortex, and the rational part of the mind is going, hang on a minute, that's not true. And your motor cortex is going, well, what should I do? Yeah, and it just sort of like hesitates there, and it actually weakens you. So when we do muscle testing, you'll stick your arm out and we'll push down on it. Some of you might be familiar with this technique. Chiropractors use it, doctors use it, and things like that, because it really is a very accurate tool. And what it does is it bypasses your conscious mind. Now, your conscious mind might be like, yeah, I want to earn £100,000 a year, or I want to get that job, or I want to do something with my life. And that's something where it might be if you internally don't have a self-image which is conducive or concurrent or coherent with that image and that thought and that wish and that desire, what happens is it flips you, it stresses you. Yeah? And we obviously feel this when we actually think about earning these things. You might get the nice thoughts of all the nice things that you're going to buy, but when you actually think about doing it, sometimes it causes anxiety inside us. Sometimes you feel it, sometimes you don't, but it's still happening. Now, muscle testing accurately just bypasses this function. So what I can do is I can ask questions of you in the form of statements, and we use especially kind of constructed forms of statements. To give you an example, one of them, and this is what you could do this at home yourself.
Okay, so for the test, what you're going to need is another partner, because there's going to be one person that will be doing the testing and one person that is going to be tested. If there's nobody about, press pause now, go grab a friend, I'll wait for you here, and then we can have a play. If you don't have anybody about, make time for it later, and you can replay this and just have a watch now, and then at least you'll be preconditioned to know exactly what you're going to be doing later when you do have somebody to practice it with. Okay, so first of all, we need to establish whether the person is right-handed or the person is left-handed, because what we're going to do in the test, we're going to use the non-dominant arm for the testing. Okay, so the non-dominant arm for the testing. So stand in front of the person being tested. I want the person that's testing the person to place their left hand on their right shoulder. That is if the person that you're testing is right-handed, so you have them elevated with their left arm as seen in the picture. When you're doing the testing, these are the muscles of the opposite shoulder which are actually going to be tested. That's what we're having a play with and seeing how they feel. When you perform the test, you're going to press down with your right hand on their left arm, or obviously swap sides, left or right-handed for non-dominant arm for the actual testing. So if you're testing somebody who's left-handed, you're going to be pressing down on their right arm with your left hand. Right, so when you've got yourself in position, you're going to be leaving your hand on their shoulder. That arm's not going to do really anything whatsoever apart from just stay in that position to balance you all out. The person testing will feel how much effort is being taken to press down on their arm after each statement. So when you press down on the arm, have a feel, just have a feel how strong it is, and have a play. It's not a strength test. We're not trying to overpower them. What we're doing is having a feel. We're sensing the strength of the arm in a calibration test. So what's the standard normal strength of the arm? The muscles that are being tested, obviously the person's going to be able to feel those. So as you're the person being tested, I want you just to be conscious about how much effort you are putting in to keep your arm in that position. So that's what your challenge is to keep your arm in exactly that position, okay, while the other person conducts the tests. Now, a quick calibration test to make sure you're actually testing correctly in the first place is standing in that position, leaving your hand there. I want you to repeat a very simple statement. My name is, and then obviously repeat your name. So the person being tested, so if I was being tested, I would say, my name is Adrian. And just after I say the statement, my name is Adrian, you press down on their arm and give it a good nice firm push. Once you've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to just be mindful of the resistance, have a feel with it, the person being tested and the person testing. Now, what I want you to do after you've done that test, you've established a baseline, I want you to make a name up of the opposite sex. It's always a bit of fun watching the other person say their name is a name of the opposite sex, especially if there's people around. It gets a bit of a giggle, but also it causes a bigger conflict in the mind, because obviously it's an opposite sex. It's a bit strange. Now, again, we're going to repeat the statement, my name is. Okay, but this time it'll be a woman's name if it was my case. So if I was saying it, I'd be saying, my name is Brenda. Okay, so at the point I say my name is Brenda, you press down on the arm again. Now what you should get is there should be a difference between the two, obviously the lie being the weaker of the two. Now, if that's not the case, if you didn't get the difference, there can be a number of reasons behind this, like dehydration, adrenal fatigue, which I'll cover in a further video. I'm not going to go into major detail on all those bits here. A simple solution is just basically go and drink a litre of water, give it half an hour, and go through the test procedure. Because we're dealing with the nervous system, hydration, electrolytes, adrenal fatigue, all these kind of things can alter the effects, but doing that quick calibration test, most people will normally test pretty okay to actually get a result. Now, let's get into a bit of a test, the one that I said that you can have a play with. And this is all surrounding money. So what we're going to say is another statement, and that is, I completely love and accept myself now that I earn, and then we're going to complete that statement with, now that I earn enough. Okay, so if you're standing there with your person being tested, get the person to say that statement. I completely love and accept myself now that I earn enough, and press down. Okay, see how that feels. Then what we're going to do is we're going to say, I completely love and accept myself now that I earn more than enough. Now, quite often there is a subtle or sometimes big difference between enough and more than enough. Okay, a lot of people will test okay for earning enough. Everybody gets by, everybody survives. But earning more than enough means that you've got excess in your bank. And if you currently don't have excess in your bank, the chances are you might have some internal beliefs about earning more than enough. And this is what will highlight it. This will let you know if earning more than enough, actually, you will still love and accept yourself. Yeah? And it can be quite enlightening. Now, once you've done that test, so go through that test, I completely love and accept myself now that I earn more than enough, press down the arm and see how that feels. Once you've done that test, the next one is, I completely love and accept myself now that I earn an abundance. Okay, you can alter that phrase, now I earn a fortune, or whatever you would like. And what we're doing is we're creating a phrase about being super successful. So what we want to find out is, do you completely love and accept yourself now that you earn an abundance? Press down on the arm, and you will find in 99.9% of cases that people will be even weaker on that statement. So this will give you an idea about what type of money blocks you have in your system. It's a very simple test, very simple to play with, and it can be rather enlightening, because if you can no longer love and accept yourself and earn a fortune, the chances are you're never going to do it.
So, if one thing that a lot of people are wanting to earn, I know in one of my other videos I talk about the monetary system's maybe going to be obsolete in the next 20 years, but at the moment it's our current paradigm, we need to play with it. So if you're wanting obviously to earn some money so you can have a better lifestyle, you can have nice things for your children, for your family, go on holidays, have a nice car, have a nice house, all these kind of things, or even if it's just food on the table, we need to earn money. That's what we need to do these days. So it's all relative as well. It doesn't matter whether you're on 12,000 a year, on 50,000 a year, or you're earning 5 million a year, right? The long and short of it is it's all a level playing field. If you're earning 5 million a year, but you're wanting to earn 10 million a year, you might not be able to if you have serious subconscious beliefs that being in that position and earning that money makes you no longer love yourself, right? And let me explain this. My mentor, who I trained with last year, I did a year-long training course called Train the Trainer, was the guy called Jack Canfield. He's responsible for a book called Chicken Soup for the Soul, a book called The Success Principles. You know, both New York Times best-selling books. In fact, Chicken Soup for the Soul actually beat the world record for having the most titles in the New York Times top 10 bestsellers list. He had seven titles in the best sellers list all at one go, beating Stephen King. Now, he's been in the kind of the mindset and psychological and the human performance kind of training industry for the last 30, 40 years. And when I was looking to increase my skill set and increase my knowledge, what I wanted to do is train with the best. So for the last 2 years I've taken time out and travelled the world, trained with some of the best trainers. Now when I was at Train the Trainer, I got to know Dr. John DeVore. Now he has got this unique system which again uses this psychokinesiology. It uses also the techniques. There's a book called Feelings Buried Alive Never Die, and it talks about how organs in the body actually store emotions. Fascinating book, have a read, and it's something that again using psychokinesiology you can test and verify. This is the wonderful thing about that kind of metric. Now what we do is we use the 5 love languages of appreciation. I'll put a link at the bottom for that. It's nothing to do with me, and what it is as humans we like to give and receive love and appreciation in 5 distinct different ways. So what we have is we have words of affirmation, we have quality time, we have gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. So my love language is physical touch. It doesn't necessarily mean all lovey-dovey and all kind of naughty kind of touch and feeling and things like that. It's just literally being close to people, close proximity. You know, I might just put my hand on your shoulder, you know, when I say hi or something like that. So it's just small, little, subtle things like that. Now, acts of service, people want to, obviously, as it says, people want to do things. You know, what can I do for you? Quality time, again, speaks for itself. It means that you want to spend time with people. Gifts, again, you like receiving or giving people things in a way of expressing your love. And words of affirmation, I mean, when I said, you know, they were in order, word of affirmation is probably one of the last things. People generally receive well if you tell them something that you love them and you like them and you appreciate them. They tend to accept it. So let me give you an example. Now, with a business that was worked on, when we went in to assess the business, there was a small team of about 8 people, and for some reason they'd stopped hitting bonus. Everybody's got a profit share, everybody gets bonus. If one person doesn't get the bonus, nobody gets the bonus. That was the way it worked. It was a whole team affair. the team hit a target and then they got a bonus. But they just stopped hitting it and they couldn't understand why. Now, when we looked into the team's integration, we found that when we do the kinesiology, we can test if it's a strong team, if there's some dis-ease in it. What we found out that there was some dis-ease in it somewhere. So what we do is we individually then go through the team and find out how they're, receiving money. So as we dug deep down into the team members, we went through them individually. We found that one particular team member wasn't attracting money as well as that they should do. And as we dug deep, what we found, it was actually an energetic block between her and a partner. Now what it was is, she was acts of service, as I said, with the 5 love languages. And as acts of service, she wants to do things for people. But also people who are acts of service see money as service, because it takes them time and effort to earn this money. So when they get the money, that's kind of, if they give you money, this is what kind of acts of service people do. They see money as love. And her husband had actually been made redundant, he was out of work and he was at home, and he wasn't making actually a great deal of effort to look for a job. It was quality time. He was actually enjoying his time at home, relaxing. He was doing things, but he wasn't doing what she wanted. She wanted him to go out and get a job. Acts of service. Go and do something for the good of the family. Yeah? But it was quality time and he was happy having a nice quality time. So what it was is that she was thinking, subconsciously, this was deep down, she didn't recognise this at the time, was that she was preventing herself from earning more money, because all that would have done is proven to him that he didn't need to work. They've got enough money, he doesn't need to work, so therefore it wouldn't stimulate him to go out and get a job. So while they were just kind of breaking even, and it was, yes, they were managing, but it was a struggle, there was an impetus for him to go out and get a job. So subconsciously, she was not doing the things that would get her the bonus, which directly affected the rest of the team. Now, once we narrow this down, what we do is we go through some special techniques, we balance the love languages, we get rid of these emotional blocks, which again, they're just subconscious, they're irrational quite often. And we got rid of this block, processed it out, tested it again with kinesiology, saw that she was strong. Within a week after we did this processing, they were back hitting bonus. It can be that powerful. Once you remove these subconscious self-limiting beliefs about loving yourself or doing something or whatever it is, you then can empower your subconscious then to work for you instead of against you, and actually look for the opportunities instead of reject them. And that's what it's all about. I've done this with clients where I've gone, right, so you completely love and accept yourself, so that's the key phrase, you completely love and accept yourself if, or now that, or something like that, so I completely love and accept myself now that I'm earning up to 10,000 a year, up to 20,000 a year, up to 30,000 a year, up to 40,000 a year, up to 50,000 a year, so on and so forth. Now, at the point you will no longer love and accept yourself because of self-esteem or residual self-image issues that you have about somebody, or experiences you've had with people that earn that kind of money, or whether you perceive you've got the talent, capabilities, or skills, or knowledge to be able to do that, you will weaken. So like a lie detector test, if you say I'm completely love and accept myself now that I am earning 50,000 a year, and you flip into sympathetic mode, it means it stresses you. It means that you've got a subconscious inner belief that makes you believe that you can't do it, or that you won't love and accept yourself if you do it. And if you can't love and accept yourself and do something, the chances are you're going to avoid it like the plague. Yeah? It's going to trigger you, you're going to feel uneasy about it. It might be that you get a business opportunity, but that business opportunity doesn't feel right for some reason. You feel uncomfortable with it, so you're like, no, I'm going to leave it for now, thank you very much. I appreciate the offer, but no, I'm okay. But then 6 months later, you find out the business opportunity has gone really, really well, and if you'd have jumped in at that stage, you'd have been like earning the money that you really wanted to earn. But you rejected it. So Did it mean it was the wrong thing? No. What it was is, the chances are, you rejected it because you were scared of that success. Now there's another aspect to it, is you could actually attract people which you think are good business ideas, but actually turn out to cost you money and lose you money. People mess you around, promise all sorts of things, never deliver anything, and what it is that there's awareness patterns. You seek out people that will fulfill your true, deep down inner core beliefs. So wouldn't it be wise, and wouldn't it be great to actually know what your true subconscious inner core beliefs are around your career, your money, your relationships and all this kind of thing, and whether your love languages and everything balance to that. Now, one brilliant thing as well is, once we've actually identified these, I mean literally we can narrow this down to a single event sometime in your history. You know, let's say you've got an aversion towards money, so you can say, right, this emotion happened when I was between 1 and 5, 5 and 10, 10 and 15, so on and so forth. And if you go weak between, say, 10 and 15, you could go, right, so 10, 11, 12. Oh, right, so you've gone weak on 12. So, you know, this emotion was started by your mother and by your father, and you go weak on your father. So, what we can do is say, right, well, okay, so what happened to you when you were 13 years old with your father to do with money? And then it might go, oh, you'll go, oh, that's when my dad got made redundant. He would have had a job for 20 years and he got made redundant, and he kind of went on a bit of a depressed. He started drinking, and then he started telling, saying, oh, the monetary system and all rich people and all this kind of stuff, and started coming out with all sorts of derogatory things. And you were 7 years old at the time, and you saw that stress that it caused your father. And we've got other attributes which I'm going to do videos about, like mirror neurons. That we actually feel our empathic kind of tendency. We, as an empath, we absorb that energy, and we absorb their emotions. We actually feel the pain that they're going through when we're young, because we don't have we don't disconnect it until we get older. But we don't know how to deal with it. It's part of our downloading system. So when we view people we love, close members and the influential people in our lives, and they have an opinion on something which is highly emotionally charged, we take those, join them together, internally absorb them, and then use that as an automatic pattern sometime in the future. So when we experience that opportunity, that emotion that we felt back then is the default setting. So what we need to do, it's like a Trojan virus, like I said on one of my other videos. So what we need to do is delete it. We need a virus software, an antivirus software that will cleanse your computer program, delete any Trojan viruses that are triggering you and stressing you, and basically holding you back from taking the opportunities or attracting the business and the people or the mates or the friends that you're really looking for. And so again, I use unique techniques through tapping. We use the meridian centers, again something that's scientifically proven now. We're made of two things. We're made of flesh and bones and blood and skin and hair and all that kind of stuff, but we're actually also made of vibrating energy. In fact, that's all we are. If you actually want to understand what you are, look up in the dictionary a rainbow. It's something that refracts light. And that's all we are. We are a vibrating energy form, structure that refracts, absorbs and emits light. Yeah, when we look at what we're made of, we're actually made of practically nothing. In fact, what we're made of disappears when we look at it. So we've got all these energetic systems in our body, which is our link to our emotional systems. Again, this is in my book, The Challenge Your Reality, and we'll talk about the chakras, ancient, thousands of year old kind of philosophies and theories about these 7 emotional centers that we have in our body. And again, science, quantum physics, and all sorts of things are proving these irrefutably real. And I'm going to be covering these in many videos and many topics and blogs and articles that I'm going to produce. So, using all these techniques and knowledge and ways of literally reprogramming your neuroscience in one sitting, in literally we can do in hours what therapy took years to do. The modern way is catching up, And what I'm wanting to do is bring these new techniques over to the UK, introduce them to people, train people with them, and show them how we can actually make real tangible difference in your emotional architecture. So you too can be released from the burdens of this past trauma. This works with post-traumatic war syndrome as well. You know, we've got a lot of troops coming back from Iraq and all this kind of places, and Afghanistan, and they've seen stuff that really no humans should ever see, and they've been through experiences that no humans really should ever experience. I would love to eradicate war, and I'm sure every soldier on the planet would, and I'm sure every soul on the planet would in reality, apart from maybe the ones that profit from it. But that's a different thing entirely. But the long and short of it is that we've got a lot of healing to do. As a nation, we've been battered and bruised by society, by, you know, all our environment, all our lives in many, many different ways. And it's time that we were able to release that trauma, release that burden, so we're no longer carrying it around with us. So if you want to release your baggage and you want to put behind you, truly behind you, what is in the past, then give me a shout and I will offer you a free, no obligation consultation and therapy session, just to give you a taster of it, and that way you can feel the tangible results that it can actually give. And by doing so, I'll hope to work with you, maybe a little bit more, and maybe even recommend me in the future. So get in touch. I look forward to chatting to you. Again, there's no obligation. If you want to have a chat, find out more about it, see if it's for you, see if we're a match, and see if I can actually do something and be of service to you and make a real difference. So thank you very much, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye bye.